TTC operators say they're not happy with how the transit system is handling their safety, and the worry spread beyond the bus and streetcar doors. CTV's Nick Dixon has more.
Concern is running high for TTC operators in the current COVID-19 pandemic. Drivers and family members have contacted CTV Toronto because they're scared of how exposed they are.
It's been awful, terrifying, not knowing what he's bringing into this house.
This wife of a TTC operator who didn't want to be identified said her husband is so scared of what he could be bringing home that he's changing in his garage, bagging and then immediately washing his clothes, and is sleeping in another part of the house and limiting his contact with his children.
People need to stay home, not only for the safety of my spouse, not only for the safety of my family, for everybody's safety equally.
Rocco Signorelli is a former TTC operator and union rep. He's speaking on camera, sharing the concerns of his former colleagues who he says have been inundating him with health and safety concerns.
If they're transmitting the virus to the driver could be passing it on to the passengers. Every passenger they see, because there is no social distancing.
He says the operators say it's taken too long for the TTC to respond to the issues being raised, like being allowed to wear masks and blocking off the area behind the drivers with caution tape.
If a passenger can still come up to the front door and talk and put their head around the operator's shield, they still being able to spread the virus rather than just block off the aisle with yellow tape, which some of the health and safety committees at the divisions are doing currently.
Another operator, afraid to go on camera, has shared these pictures of crowded buses from various drivers this week. In one text telling CTV Toronto, "It's crazy at work. I don't understand the decisions being made. All we want is some kind of protection to keep the passengers back from us so we can do our job properly and stay healthy." And in another, they're taking the stance that if it's uncomfortable to get on a bus, then the passenger should choose not to get on that bus. The drivers don't have that option, adding, "This is a problem waiting to explode." The consensus among drivers who spoke to CTV today is they feel trapped and scared, but they're too afraid to speak publicly for fear of potential repercussions. TTC officials say since late January, cleaning protocols have been stepped up, including access to gloves, wipes, and hand sanitizer, rear door boarding, going cashless, and no longer issuing transfers. All of the moves have been under the guidelines of public health.
The indication is that there is no increased risk to operator safety. That doesn't mean we're taking it for granted by any means.
Stuart Green says ridership is down by almost 80%, but acknowledges in some parts of the city there remain people who rely on the TTC to get to work.
So what we're doing there is we're deploying extra buses at the busiest times of day to address that, what would be called crowding now, but on a normal day would not be. So where we're having, 15, 20 people on a bus, maybe we want to get that down to, say, 10.
But that isn't calming the frayed nerves of frightened operators and their families in a stressful time. Nick Dixon, CTV News.
The province has asked Ontario hospitals to ramp down elective surgeries